Hey everyone, it's Kara here from Boho Berry, and I'm back with a brand new unboxing of the Boho Berry Box. So you probably noticed that this one is a little late. Today is August 26th, and unfortunately my box kind of got lost in the mail system and I didn't get my new one until today. So my unboxing is a little bit late. I do apologize about that. But I am super excited about this box. We were chatting in the Boho Berry Facebook group last week, and I mentioned to someone that I think this might be in one of my top 3 boxes of all time. So I'm really excited to share with you what is inside. And make sure to stay tuned to the end on this one because I have a little surprise for you there too. All right, let's go ahead and open her up. As always, if you haven't received your box yet, which most of you probably have by now, but if you have not and you want this to be a surprise, definitely skip this video until you've received your box. Otherwise, let's just dive right on in. Let's open her up. All right, so as always, on the inside, we have our little insert card that tells you everything that is in the box. We also have an extra little business card in here for Moxie Dory, which gives you a little hint of something that may be inside. So I'm not going to read through each and everything that's in here because I'm going to go over it one by one. But the theme this month is autumn and inks. Autumn is here in the Northern Hemisphere, and what better way to cozy up than with some fall-inspired ink, new writing utensils, and more. All right, so let's set this to the side and let's just check it out. All right, here we go. I'm so excited about this box, y'all. I have been waiting to get my hands on some of the things that are in here. All right, so first things first, these are some brush lettering tracing strips from Moxie Dory. Moxie Dory is one of my favorite shops on Etsy for things like stencils, and now they've gotten into these tracing strips, which are really cool as well. They also have some really neat rulers and stuff like that. But I love Amy and Chris who run Moxie Dory, and I was so excited to put this in the box. So these strips are really neat because you can place them under a page in your journal and just practice. Practice with your brush lettering or even practice with a regular pen and doing faux calligraphy. So I decided to do the full lowercase in this box. So we have A through G, H through N, O through P, O through P, O through U, and B through Z, plus a couple little cute little characters there. So these are really fun. You can keep these in the back pocket of your journal so they're handy and you can just use them whenever you want. Love them. All right, up next we have kind of our box staples. We have our monthly sampler and our monthly tracker. So the sampler is basically what it sounds like. It's a set of sampler stickers for each month. This one's for September, and I thought I'd do like some pretty hand lettering for these to keep it all consistent this month. And I love this quote. I've been using it forever. It says, "Magic happens when you put pen to paper." I 100% believe that, and I just love that little quote. All right, then we have our September habit tracker. Nice and simple this month, again with the hand lettering over the top. And then, if you're noticing, a theme for this box is all kind of about handwriting and improving that. So I created some tracing sheets for you. Now this is my cursive, and these are actually 2 sheets. So we have uppercase and lowercase, and they are double-sided. They're on a really thick cardstock. So again, you can keep these in your journal and just place them right behind a page. I wanted to make them A5 size so they would fit in. Most people have an A5 size notebook, so you can just slide it right under your page and practice tracing your cursive letters. So we have uppercase front and back, and we have lowercase front and back for you as well. All right, now to get into the goodies that are making me all sorts of excited this month. All right, first things first, I don't even know where to start because I'm excited about all of them, but we're gonna go for this little bubble wrap guy right here. Oh, I love bubble wrap. I don't know. I have a weird obsession with it, y'all. All right, so we have a little glass jar, and this is just a little inkwell for you to mix up ink to dip your dip pen into, which we're going to get into in just a second. So I'm going to put this right here. We also have a nib holder. So this is the part, if I can figure out where to open it. Oh, I thought it would have a little, okay, it's open on one end. Real life, y'all. All right, so this is a little nib holder. It's got a cork handle, so it's nice and comfortable. And then if you look right on the inside, you can see it's got kind of some little grippy tong things. And those grippy tong things, which I'm sure that there is a technical term somewhere, those actually hold different nibs. So you can use this one pen holder to hold different styles of nibs for writing. So I selected a few different styles of nibs here for you. So we have 3 different nibs in here. And I am going to do a little tutorial here once we get everything unboxed. But I just want to show you the 3 styles of nibs that we have. So this one right here is probably my favorite. It's the most beginner friendly. And I'll show you, this is the one I'm going to use to give you a little tutorial. And this one is more like a fountain pen nib. So this is one that you wouldn't want to press very hard on to get thick and thin lines. It's just more of a fountain pen nib. It's a 0.5 millimeter tip. And oh, I meant to mention this one's a 0.4 millimeter tip. And then this one is super, super thin. It's a 0.3 millimeter tip, and it actually splits open quite a bit more. So you can get a really, really thin and a lot thicker lines when you're doing your writing. All right, so we're going to set these to the side and try not to lose them. Goodness. And then last but not least, and I'm going to get this box out of the way here so that we can check this out. But this is a walnut mordant. Now, initially I wanted to include a walnut ink because it's one of my favorite things to write with a pointed pen. I just think it's really pretty. It has like a really sepia tone when you write on paper. However, finding mordant ink or walnut ink in tiny quantities to put in the box was really, really hard. So we found this really, really cool company that actually makes walnut mordant. So this is actually a dry pigment. If you can see that in there, let me try to hold it up to where you can kind of see it catch the light. So it looks black, but the ink that comes off of this is actually more of a brown and walnut color. But you can mix this up in a ton of different ways. So she does have a little instruction on here that says dissolve 1 tablespoon of crystals in 1 cup of warm water. Stir until crystals dissolve and ink is an even color. Intensity of color is controlled by strength of dilution. So you can create a wide variety of walnut inks from this one little jar, and I thought that was really, really cool. All right, so before we get into the little tutorial with the inks and everything, I just want to lay everything out again to show you everything that comes in this box. So we have our cursive alphabet tracing sheets. We have our tracker for the month, our sampler as well. We also have our little brush lettering tracing guides from Moxie Dory. We have our nib holder. We have 3 different nibs. I'm never going to be able to lay these out properly. There we go. And then we have our little glass jar for our Inkwell. And then we have our walnut mordant to create our own ink. All right, so let me set everything kind of aside here except what we're going to need. We're going to need our little jar, our ink. We're going to need our nib and nib holders. I'll put those there and set the rest to the side. All right, so I'm going to grab a little notebook here. And this is just a little Clairefontaine French ruled paper. I like using it for random writing, random writing practice. I do believe this paper is amazing, y'all. It's a super smooth paper, which is really nice for writing with pointed pen. You could definitely use something like printer paper or paper in your journal. I just really, really like the super smooth Clairefontaine paper. All right, so first things first is you want to prepare your nib. Now, these nibs come straight from a factory, and coming straight from a factory, they often have a little bit of like manufacturer's grease on them, and it's important to get that cleaned off before you write with them, or else the ink is just going to bead and it won't flow onto your page because of that little grease. So what I recommend is just grab some water. I've just got a little bit of just regular tap water here. And I'm going to grab a paper towel and just really lightly wet it. That's almost too much. I'm going to blot it a little bit. And all I'm going to do is just rub along the tip of my nib, making sure that I'm not touching the nib itself with my skin. Sorry if you can hear my dogs. Making sure I'm not touching the nib itself with my skin. I want to make sure that this is just wiped clean and good to go. All right, and now I'm going to grab it by the side and just put it right in. And I might actually use my paper towel here. And you see those little tongs in there. I'm just going to slide this nib right in here. You want to be careful not to press too hard. You don't want to split your tines on your nib, but you can just kind of work it in a little bit. It doesn't have to go in super far, just enough so that it's not like wiggling all over the place. And that feels nice and steady and nice and firm. So we've got our nib on there. I'm just going to give it a little wipe with our water. I want to make sure that my ink is going to hold really, really well in there. Okay, now we need to prepare our ink. So this little jar is about 1 ounce. I am going to just add some water and then add some of this pigment and just play around. I know there's a little recipe on there for how much you should put in. I'm already getting water all over my desk. But honestly, I just want to play with it and see what we come up with. All right, do I have something to help me get this in here? This is called being super prepared, y'all. I'm just gonna... This is probably a terrible idea, but we're gonna go for it. Okay, and I'm not using warm water here. I'm just using room temperature water. Ooh, look at that. It's already on my fingers. It's creating that nice brown kind of sepia color. Let me just wipe down that corner there, and I'm going to wipe down my desk again. Oh, I'm getting new stains on my desk, y'all. This desk has been through so much, and I used to get so worked up whenever I scratched it or got a stain on it, and now it's a hot mess, and I love it. I love it. All right, so let's see. What can I stir this with? All right, I'm going to be crazy, and I'm just going to stir with the back end of my nib holder. I know very well that this is going to stain like crazy, but I kind of don't mind. And I can already see, I don't know if you can, it's really, really dark in there, but I can already see that all those little flecks are starting to dissolve, even with using room temperature water. So that's cool. I just want to make sure that there's not any flecks left on the surface for me to pick up. Ooh, look at that color. All right. Go. And actually this nib holder is varnished, so it's not staining too badly. And I do have a pile of paper towels over here for when I need them. In fact, I'm going to grab one just to have on the side because I do like to kind of blot my pen every once in a while, and I like to dip it in water every once in a while too. I'm going to put those there. All right, so I just want to show you how this works. Really simple. So I'm going to dip my nib in, and I want to dip it far enough that it's past this little hole. Hopefully you can see that little hole in the nib. So that is what's going to kind of create that tension to hold the ink in the nib as you write. So I'm going to dip pretty far in there. And I want you to see when I lift this up, I do kind of drag it across there. But what's happening, gosh, I really hope you can see this. What's happening is that the ink is pooling in that tiny little hole, and it's also pooling in between the tines. And that's the ink that's going to release. And I actually might need to make this ink a little bit thicker, but there we go. That's what it's supposed to be doing. So it's pooling right in that little area. And then when I write, it's going to release there. So let's see if I mix this ink properly. Oh yeah. Oh, and I love that sound. I don't know if you can hear it. Ah, I love that. And this is going to dry. Looks like I mixed it pretty dark actually, which I kind of don't mind. I love the difference between, let me just rinse my nib really quick. This is what I do anytime I want to switch colors, or from time to time I'll just rinse off the nib and give it a little dry to set it down. But I want to give you a close-up here. So hopefully you can see the color here and the thick and thin lines that the nib creates. So when you're going up, you want to apply just really light pressure, and it created this really, really thin light brown line. And then when you come down, you apply even pressure all the way down, and it creates a thicker line that's a little bit darker because it's releasing more ink as you press down. And you just continue that as you write. And you'll notice that I write very, very slowly when I do this. I think that's kind of important. I'm going to write my name here. Hopefully y'all can see. I'm going to write a little bit bigger. Oh, I love this ink already. It's so, so pretty. And you will have to refill your nib with ink periodically. So if you're writing like a letter or long sentences, you do have to go back in and refill your nib with ink. So I'm just going to show you one more of these nibs because I'm having a lot of fun playing with them. I'm going to show you the fountain pen one. So I'm going to put this right where that one was. And yes, I'm touching it with my fingers, but that's just because I haven't really cleaned it yet. So I'm going to dip my paper towel in the water. And I really just want to, again, I'm just going over and cleaning it off, trying to get any grease or any dust or anything that may be on there from manufacturing, from shipping. Just get it nice and clean. All right, so remember when I said this one is more of a fountain pen nib. So if you're used to writing with fountain pens, this one might feel a little bit more comfortable. You're not going to want to apply a lot of pressure. You're not going to want to shoot for those thin and thick lines. You're really just going to be using this one as if it was a fountain pen. Let me get a little of that extra ink off of there. So you'll see how this one, you're probably going to have to dip more frequently because it does release a lot of ink. And this one writes a lot more smoothly. This one actually, you might want to play around with a thicker ink, or really refill it quite regularly, because it does use a ton of ink. I think this one would be great for if you're sitting down to write a letter, just because, I don't know, it's just really, really pretty how it variegates between dark and light as the nib releases more or less ink. It's really, really cool. All right, y'all. So that is my little mini tutorial on these, the pen and nib holder and everything else. If you have any questions, definitely drop them down below. I am going to seal this little guy up. Isn't that so cute? I'm going to seal this little guy up and let it sit, and I might come play with it again this afternoon and see if it gets more incorporated. I might even add a little bit more of that mordant to make it a little bit thicker or darker. That's the beauty of this, is you can play with it so much and get different results every time. And you can see, like, that was just a tiny, tiny bit, and we still have a ton left in here to play with. All right, y'all, that is going to do it for this month's unboxing. I hope you enjoyed the little tutorial as well. Again, if you have questions, let me know down below. I'll be happy to answer. And I did promise a little surprise for you at the end of this video, and that is because I feel so bad that this unboxing is so late this month, I wanted to do a special coupon code for you all. So if you are not a subscriber yet and you're interested in subscribing, you can enter the coupon code FALLHAUL on bohoberrybox.com and get 20% off. If you are a current subscriber, we are honoring that coupon for any of our standalone items in the shop. So any of our past boxes, if there's something like that that interests you, there's a 20% off at bohoberrybox.com with the coupon code FALLHAUL. All right, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.